It is March. We are here to celebrate Women's History Month. It is March, and we are here to celebrate Women's History Month. So for episode 3, we will have our first ever women's only panel. Check it out, Opinionated, episode 3. We going viral one way or another, motherfucker. Count me down, somebody. 3, 2. Welcome to episode 3 of Opinionated. We are here at the Bricks in Ybor City to celebrate March, which is Women's History Month. I brought six of some of the most talented Tampa Bay creatives. This episode is going to be dedicated to women and celebrating them throughout history. So to start, I'd like to introduce the panel. To my left.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm one half of Back Talk the podcast. I'm also the founder of Dear Mama of Tampa, Florida.
Hi, I'm NAVE. I'm an all-around creative. I sing, design, all of that, and my website is naveseason.com.
Hi, my name is Karli. I am a freelance music journalist, and I'm also a writer at Narrow Magazine.
Hi, I'm Tempestt. I'm a photographer, and I am a DJ.
Hi, my loves. I'm HiiFrequency, and I'm the host of The Healing Ho, which is now streaming on YouTube and Pornhub.
Hello, I'm Ashley, and I'm an introvert and polymath. Don't really like titles, so limitless.
As you guys can see, our panel is a little bit bigger than usual. So to help facilitate this conversation, we have a bowl. And inside the bowl are several questions that discuss anything from women's history to discuss anything from mentorship and how to navigate in the industry. So to start the discussion, we're going to top it off with HiiFrequency.
Awesome. Okay. Social media can be a very lucrative tool for freelancers. How do you use it to your advantage? That's a hard question, because I feel like it's trial and error when it comes to using social media for shit. Like, I really have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just doing I'm just being myself, if that makes sense. So promo-wise, it's really helpful, but I'm just being myself, and honestly, I'm just winging it.
Yeah, I feel like as bad as social media can be sometimes, it is a great way to get yourself out there. For me, I promote all day, every day. I promote on my stories a lot more than I do on my page, but that's one thing that I have to work on. But social media is an amazing tool to get yourself out there, for sure. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. As a journalist, I know that we have to implement things like SEO, like things that tip off the search engines. So I definitely utilize my platform. The more people, the better, obviously. But I definitely think without social media, I wouldn't have found my field or my path or all these different things that influence the way I write, the things I pay attention to, the things that I want to highlight and think are actually newsworthy. It has bad, elements to it, but I don't know where I'd be without it.
That is true, because for me, I know that I literally do all of my promoting on social media, so sometimes it can be limiting because you don't want to get out of social media to, advertise and do stuff like that, but you can reach so many audiences, people from Nigeria or Australia, it's so many things you can do with social media, and even random ways like going viral, just being yourself. I went viral one time.
Hey. And you're gonna do it again.
Insert wig clip.
But no, seriously, people found my website and my Instagram and stuff just because of social media. So It can be a tool.
I do have a quick question. Do you ever pay for social media?
I have.
Like
You have-
promoting like ads.
Yeah, like,
I did it once. It was like an Instagram free credit.
does it
Yes.
work? Oh.
It just got
Yeah.
me a whole bunch of likes. Like nobody, it didn't get me any traffic to my website. So I feel like I went about it wrong. Maybe I don't know.
They'll usually give you a credit once you reach like a certain amount of likes.
Mhm.
You can just get it for free, like for a certain amount of days.
I've never paid.
It works.
Maybe I
does.
should.
I paid one
I don't
time.
think it's worth it to be honest.
Really?
No?
I mean, it'll help you reach a wider audience outside the niche that, like, you know what I mean, like the close proximity. Yeah, when you pay for the ads, you can target a certain audience.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps, like, if you're trying to think about it like that, if you're trying to attack it like that.
It is. It's very trial and error because sometimes when you pay for a promoted post, you get like all these weird
Oh my
people
God.
like they be like sugar daddies.
Yeah.
They're just all weird.
Oh, that actually happens.
Yes, it happens a lot.
The work I do.
This is not the audience.
Yeah, you got me a whole bunch of likes from like creepy old men. I'm like, this is not the target audience. I was
Yeah.
Toes and you trying to promote an event or something.
So that's like the almost ongoing joke on social media, at least from what I see, is like, I see those sugar daddies and I see like people take a picture, screenshot it, and like everybody laughing. I didn't know that actually happens though. Like,
Oh, it does.
All the time.
Yeah.
Look, women deal with a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 You didn't think about it.
Just pick a random homegirl and look at her DMs.
It's
It's a war
or
zone.
don't.
anybody want to show us their
No,
DMs?
sir.
My frequency gonna show you. Show me.
Yeah, my phone's over there. But no,
We could break. We could show the
I
DMs.
literally can. I literally can. Don't tap me. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna do it.
Shit.
Do
Yeah,
it.
let's do
Yeah,
it. Fuck it. Why not? We need
Content.
You ain't gotta show the whole DM. We just want to see.
I'm gonna just pick a good one.
Okay.
Sometimes it's really funny. Put the screen record.
Sometimes it be Russians though.
So they can then send a screen.
Like the bots? Yes, they be
Because
Russian
like
bots.
sometimes I'll literally just open my DMs to laugh because I'm just like, wow, you really thought this was gonna work? What the fuck? Let's see. I know I eat that ass 5 times a week.
Did somebody just send you this on like a random
Just
Tuesday?
like randomly 2 days ago, like just for no reason. Like he just sent me that. Like not even a response to anything. He just sent it.
Specific.
Like,
Vibes.
as if that's gonna make
Like
me
it's a major
want.
thing.
Right, yes, I actually
Monday
would
through
like
Friday.
my ass. Let me reply back.
You said 3 times a week is good enough? Okay, but not 5.
No, that's excessive. That's pretty.
That
It
is
gets
excessive.
satiated, you know. Doesn't just like drop it in there.
Oh. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Maybe. A little on the weekends too.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I love
Thank
how
you
we
guys.
took the weekend off. Like,
Would anybody like to grab from the bowl? Anybody next?
I can go.
All right, let's do it.
Do you feel that talent and work ethic are equally important for women in the industry? Are there other factors that come into play for a woman to succeed?
That's a good one.
I got some answers for
You
that.
wanna go first? 'Cause I know we
Right. I want them to be equally important. I don't know if they always are. I feel like, oh God, sometimes likability takes you further than talent. Which it's not easy to be charismatic. You know, that could be a talent in and of itself, but if we're talking about the art itself, I sometimes think that charisma takes people further. Are there other factors that come into play for women to truly succeed? Yeah, you have to be attractive. That's a thing, unfortunately. You have to be appealing to men, because I'm not saying it's right, but I see it way more often than not. I definitely think there are people that get through, but yeah, that's the thing. Sex sells. And charisma, knowing how to market yourself. There are some good things and some things that really shouldn't be a factor. But if we're keeping it a buck, we know that sex sells. We know that people want to consume someone that reflects something in them, someone that they want to be friends with. And while these can be good things, talent should be the number one, in my opinion. You know, but that's also, subjective.
Yeah.
So, it depends.
Do you ever find yourself sliding on that scale, like trying to be more charismatic, where it affects the integrity of your art?
Not the well, I'm not necessarily an artist, so I know the other girls could definitely say more to that. But I do know that I need to network, and I know my personality helps a lot.
Yeah.
I know that I'm like pretty likable. So I'm pretty sure that it's like in Parasite, like with the rich family, like hiring people who their friends knew, or hiring, you know what I mean? It's all about who you know, not always what you know. And that it's kind of more exposure that gets put on this pedestal. And I think women face it a little bit more because we're commodified a lot more in society.
I think it does matter being charismatic. I know a lot of times when me and Kayla, my co-host for Back Talk, when we first started, a lot of people would call me mean and like introverted, and a lot of people would tell me you need to get out and network. And that's not me. Like, I like to stay at home. I like to just stay at home, work on my art, work on the content, and put it out there. But it has helped, and Kayla's kind of the same way, but it has helped for us to, like, you know, show our faces at different events. People want to talk to us, and I think that is just so strange. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. And then when people, like, when I go out, people are like, oh, like, HiiFrequency. She was like, yeah, you're from Back Talk. I'm like, oh, yeah, I do that. You do know me. You know a lot about me. So it's just like, I'm sorry. Karli. I had a lot of caffeine. Like Karli said, you know, it helps to just kind of put yourself out there and be charismatic. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that should matter. I think the talent that should just be what it is. I feel like men are not held to that same standard. Men can just put out anything and boom, it'll pop.
Yeah,
They could be so rude, no social skills, nothing, and it's gonna pop. Men can literally have the freedom to be whoever they are. Women, we have, like Karli said, you have to be attractive, you gotta be cute, you gotta smile all the time, wear nice clothes, you gotta fit the aesthetic, you have to look a certain way, you gotta be friendly. And I don't think that that's right.
I think colorism has a lot to do
let's dig
with
deep, shall we?
success in the industry.
Drink my drink.
No, seriously, because you can be light-skinned and talented, and not talented, and still be a Grammy Award winner, or, you know. But you have people like Azalea Banks, who is actually talented and very opinionated, but she you know, people don't respect her because she has these different opinions. I'm not saying that every opinion that she has is correct, but the talent is there. Like,
she is.
You know,
I
you
actually
can't
like her.
debate that. Like, the talent, the visuals, and a lot of the stuff she says is right. It just might come out a little brash or whatever, but
And
it's a big thing.
That's her.
Colorism is.
I think that if she looked different and said the things she said, she wouldn't get as bad backlash.
If Cardi B said it, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't
be
be a
like,
big deal.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like,
My first opinion was, for me, honestly, I'm just gonna be honest. Azalea Banks, I love that she's so outspoken, but sometimes I just feel like she crosses that line where it's not respectful.
Right.
I'm all about like love and respect, and I feel like that's not really, it's not her thing.
Yeah.
You know what? That's her as a person. But then when you put it like that, like Cardi B disrespectful as fuck, but like everybody talks about her personality and like how her personality is what put her on, but she is feisty as
It's
fuck
the same
too, so
thing,
that's
yeah.
a good point.
And both of those things can be right at the same time, too.
Yeah.
You know.
I do have a question, and I kind of want to tie it back to the first question around social media. Do you think that as women in this industry, or upcoming women in the industry, do you think that sometimes, for the introverts of the panel, I don't know who's introverts, I don't want to cast on anybody, do you think it's easier to lean on the social media aspect? Because you can literally just say be whatever you want to be.
I think so,
That's why
yeah.
I started my show, because like literally I was so introverted at the time. I was like super depressed and I just didn't want to talk to anybody. I just liked hiding in my apartment and just creating art. And it was a lot because I like created an internet family of like kinky ass people that I loved, and I'm like, oh, we could just all be friends on the internet, and like I don't actually have to go out and like meet people and network and shit like that. But that's not how that shit works, because your craft is just gonna remain within like 5 people. But it feels comfortable, but what I really want to do is like touch a bunch of people and like help more people become their true self. So I can't use social media as a crutch, but I really do want to, low key. It's like a little safe space on the internet.
it really is.
I'm bad at it. I'm bad at social media. I could never have any type of influencer type of thing because I like look at myself sometimes and I'm just like staring at it till I find something wrong. And I'm kind of just that person in general. Like, it's how I edit, you know what I mean? It's how I get a lot of like productive stuff done. So when it turns into like something on me, I'm just like, does this matter? Like does my day matter that much? Other people's days are so much more interesting. That's just kind of what I feel, and I'm comfortable in that. You know what I mean? But I do think I hide maybe behind my work a whole lot more in terms of like writing and pitching and all these other I feel like I hide behind that a lot more than I do like an internet personality. And that's why I try to go out there to force myself, because I think I'm a lot better off the cuff rather than, you know. But I know most introverts do tend to like the internet more. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think
It's all about genuine energy and authenticity.
Mhm.
So if you're being genuine, you're being authentic, then none of that will even bother you. So if you're just genuine, authentic to yourself, then there will be no dissonance when it comes to the internet. That's what I know.
All right. Does anybody want to start the next question? Read up the next question?
Sure.
Appreciate you.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What are the most rewarding and challenging aspects of your industry, and how do you stay motivated? I would say the most rewarding, and well, I'll combine these. The most rewarding and how do I stay motivated whenever somebody says that, whenever somebody tells me what I said, like they can relate. I'm really big on like relatability. You know, whenever I put myself out there, like I'm very transparent on my podcast. Even with like starting a single mom support group, I'm a single mom, so I want to share my struggle with everybody else so we can all come together. And I do the same thing on my podcast. Like I put myself out there, and I do that so somebody else out there that may be afraid to say whatever they got on their chest, they can hear me and be like, oh, okay, it is okay to feel that way, or it is okay to have gone through that. And so when somebody tells me like, you know, I was thinking the same thing, or I did the same thing, or thank you for saying that, you know, thank you for speaking up for, you know, women like me who, you know, may have gone through the same thing. That's the most rewarding part for me. I guess the most challenging would be kind of the same thing, putting myself out there, because me putting myself out there, like I said, I'm very transparent on social media, on my show, just in all aspects, but people get too familiar and they think that they really know me. There's like a lot of myself that I don't put out there. I have like a whole different life, you know, behind closed doors, and some things that I don't share them for a reason. But when people think that just because I'm so transparent that they can talk to me any kind of way, say anything to me, or comment on like, you know, my personal life, it's like, you really don't know. Like I share a lot, but there's a lot more. Like what you may think is a lot is just like the tip of the iceberg. And so, I don't know, dealing with people talking to me crazy, that's the most challenging part, because they think that they know me just because I put so much of myself out there. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Huh?
Can you tell us an example?
So I'm gonna try to think. So a lot of times, like before I started my single mom support group, I would talk a lot about dating on my podcast, and I have a young son, he's 4. So that would open the door for men to like make like weird stepdaddy comments. It's so strange. And I'm like, you don't even fucking know me. Like, don't speak on my child. Like, don't. It gets weird.
Yeah.
It does. Like, men.
Are weird sometimes.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but like,
No, hey, let it fly.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm weird.
men would make like weird comments just about me being like a single mom. They would make like baby daddy comments, like, oh, you know, you're like, I've had somebody say to me like, I have like a loud mouth, I have a rude mouth, a slick mouth, that's why my baby daddy left. And it's like, bitch, you don't fucking know me. But like they were saying it in like in jest. They were saying it like as a joke, and it's like,
No.
you don't know. Like,
Yeah, like,
you know, so yeah.
that was a bit far.
Yeah. So that's yeah.
So before we go to question 3, we took an alcohol break, so that's why you see all the alcohol there, guys. So we here to celebrate. Yeah. Cheers to Women's History Month. Yeah. To the sisters. Okay. All right. So we're gonna pick up right with question 3. Okay.
I'll go ahead and read it again. So what are the most rewarding and challenging aspects of your industry, and how do you stay motivated?
I think something something rewarding about journalism is getting the truth out, getting to get to know these communities. I'm a queer woman, so I decided to take on the LGBT beat when I was reporting, and in Gainesville, which, you know, like that's a rural area, and yeah, there's a university there, but outside of it, there are so many queer and trans people who are not, there are like issues they want to be addressed, and so it was really rewarding to get to know these people on like a personal level and spend your time with them. So just like seeing people who are often spoken over and listening to their stories and learning about them is really, really rewarding. Something challenging in general about journalism, I think, is it's kind of a boys' club. I'm in journalism school as well, so I see a lot of priority given to like sports writing and hard news writing. And I write about music and features and profiles and people. And I feel like those things aren't appreciated as much kind of in general. And it's kind of like when it is appreciated, it's very highbrow, and it's like, how can me, like, queer woman of color, you know, who isn't super wealthy and living in this massive city, like, how do I become a priority? How does my writing become a priority? And how is it looked at? How do people who don't fall within those margins care? That's a challenge, but it's one I'm totally, like, taking head on, and I'm happy and proud to, like, develop that tenacity to keep moving forward. That's what's up.
I think I totally agree with that, especially like with journalism. So one of the things that I do is I write on my website, NAVEseason.com, which is a platform that was based off of giving Black people and minorities the voice to speak, because like working in journalism at like companies like Complex or like HGTV Magazine, all of these companies, like you see that they don't really give people a voice, especially people of color a voice, which is very challenging, especially if you see that you're a person of color in the room and then you don't really have the chance to like express yourself how you could. So like that's what I've done with my platform, which is actually very liberating, because we do get the chance to have people who have stories that are not heard to be heard, and also addressing things like the music industry. Like I'm a singer as well, so like something that I think is very rewarding is like when I write music, people can relate to my music. How you said relatability. Like if something that I'm going through, people are like, oh my gosh, I was going through the same thing, and like when you sang it, like helped me out. So writing through music, through journalism, or creating, like people can also like heal or like relate to it and feel like they're not alone if they're struggling with something, you know. So
Yeah.
that's
Like the best thing for me when it comes to my brand is how much I've been able to like learn along the way. Like I said earlier, trial and error. I'm literally just healing and just documenting the process as I go along. So it's really cool to build a community of kinky other Black people, especially queer people, and to be able to share our voice. That shit is so beautiful. Like we can all be on our kinky shit and like still be capable of all these other things and be Black at the same time and not give a fuck what anybody has to say about it. So that's like my biggest motivator. I love that shit.
Documenting healing, I love that.
yes.
I love it. It's
When,
a hard journey.
when motivation is, I guess my thing with like motivation is you're not 100% motivated all the time. So what are the things that you do to remind yourself of, you know, maybe I need to get back into that kink space and I need to do these for these people. Like maybe I really need to lean into the queer and LGBTQ people in Gainesville. Like how do you remain motivated?
Remember why.
Yeah.
Remember why you're doing what you're doing. And actually keeping those remembrances around you, be able to see what you're doing, just keep it around you, see the visual, then it'll keep you motivated further.
100%. Like, I know when I was writing about music, and I read about you, John, and I kept thinking, I love this so much, I don't want to not talk about it. Like, I must talk about it. And that's also what gets me with, like, the more serious things is, like, this is so important, why is no one talking about this? Like, that gives you motivation to write. And, like, you be kicking yourself. Like, when you're creative or when you're someone who has to, like, pull within to get things out, you kind of kick yourself because it has to be right.
Yeah.
And so that's how you stay motivated, honestly.
I know for me, like I kind of think about how I'm gonna feel on the back end if I don't do it.
Yeah.
So like starting up my support group, it's been hard kind of doing it by myself. And there are days when I'm like, I feel like shit and I don't want to do it. But then I think like 2 months down the line, I'm gonna be mad that I didn't do it. So let me just do it. And then as far as like with Back Talk, my podcast, what keeps me motivated, I can only speak for myself, what keeps me motivated is when we like have our little breaks and take hiatuses and people want it, they're hitting us up like, okay, so where's the episode? And I'm like, okay, people do care. So let me just, you know, keep it going. So I don't know, that's me.
I feel that's like a nice little reminder, like, dang, I'm slacking, but like, there's people like looking to you, like, yo, get your shit together.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
Sometimes that little fire under your butt, you need it.
For me, as far as photography goes, in my wall, I have a wall dedicated to just like pictures I've taken down the line, and like the wall's covered in pictures. So I wake up to it and I just look at it every day. I think I call it my wall of growth. So
I need one of those.
right,
Yes.
it's full of Polaroids, digital pictures that I've taken, and I just add to it when I get the chance to. As far as DJing goes, I'm a big flipper. If you guys know what flips are, you guys know what flips are?
Yes.
No, tell
Okay,
us.
so flips are
Sound like a
basically lyrics to a song but with a different beat.
Oh, okay.
I live off SoundCloud. Like I fucking love SoundCloud. SoundCloud is like the best app for people like me and like musicians. SoundCloud is amazing. So I'll spend a day like just finding music, stream it, put it up on my Serato, mix it.
And you always kill that shit, girl.
Yeah,
you do.
Thank you. I'm a huge practicer. I love, if I have the free time, why not? So
Yeah.
Can I say that I see that in your craft though? Like I can see that you put in the work and you practice. Because in a short period of time, bitch, the growth.
Speaking of flips, if you guys have noticed, it's a damn jigsaw, whatever the shit is called outside. If you hear the noise, we are in the city, so we want to make sure that we represent the city as full as we are in Tampa Bay, outside in the art room, and they're doing construction in Ybor City. Just so you guys know.
This is very raw.
Very
Super
raw, right?
planned.
You know what I mean? So flip that sound, you know what I mean?
Great
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our next question, and I want T to kind of lead us off.
Alright. What is your superpower? What is your magic? Alright. I would say I have two. I would say being able to teach myself things, so it's being self-taught and consistency. I've been photographing for about 5 years. Never took a class. I took a class in high school, but that shit was boring. So I mean I passed, but never took a class on that, I should say. Taught myself how to DJ. I've been learning the techniques forever. But once I felt like I got the equipment, I wanted to take it seriously. So, yeah. My main goal this year was to be consistent because the people love to see it. They love to see you putting out content. They love to see you doing you. And I've been doing mixes, which is, I'm calling like a radio show. I've been doing that for like 3 months. So that's the goal, to continue to do it monthly. Just like, you know, say if I have a month that I'm not doing anything, like I have no gigs, I'm still having that to put out to let people know, hey, I'm doing this. I haven't been photographing as much because DJ's really been taking off for me, but it's still nice to have that in my like backyard. So, yeah, for sure.
What was the question?
What is your superpower? What is your magic?
Oh, okay. I'll go. I would say that mine is, oh, you done? I can go?
Yeah.
Didn't want to cut anybody off. I would say mine is resiliency and my ability to begin again over and over and over. I've been through a lot in my 29 years. Yes. I'm 29 years old.
And killing it.
So I've been through a lot in my 29 years. It's been a journey, and a lot of times, like I think about it, and it's kind of like a gift and a curse. Like I'm always like just picking myself back up and keep going. A lot of times, people will kind of fold under the circumstances. I don't want to like sing a sad song, but I think that that's the best part of me. Like just kind of keep going. Like just being able to begin again, and kind of throw like the negative up into the air and it'll turn into something positive eventually. So
Yeah.
so my ability to just self-motivate and just keep going.
That's what makes
It gets annoying sometimes, but because I'll be like, why can't I just give up? Like, fuck this shit, but yeah.
Oh, yes. I would say that I feel like I'm a whole superwoman or superhero, whatever. But I would say that my super, and I think I got multiple ones. My superpower is I have vision. Like I know what people want. Like I see what looks good, and I know how to like create. Or actually, no, boom. My hands, I can create so many things. Like I'm a graphic designer. Y'all need a flyer or anything, plug me. But I'm a graphic designer, so I know what looks good. I know like visual things. I know how to like create like jewelry or like I don't know, pottery, all that kind of stuff. So I know what people like. And also I think my voice, including like my words, is something that is very unique to me. I know like I'm always being, I can say what people need at the time that they need it, I feel like. At least that's what people tell me. Yeah, my words, my vision, yeah. I'm creative. I don't know.
That's the best part of you.
Anybody else want to flex real quick? But superpower, what's your superpower?
I feel like my superpower is being able to float through different environments and being able to connect the dots between those environments and communicating just so everyone in these different environments can, like with clarity, I'm trying to figure out how to say it out of my mouth right now, but like, you know how the Babel, like how everyone can speak the same language? Kind of like that, like connecting all the dots and making everyone understand something in a simple way. I'm trying to say. Yeah.
I agree that you're good at that. 'Cause she helps me with that shit all the time, like just grounding me. Because sometimes I have too many fucking ideas, and she's good at just being like, "Bitch, calm down." Can I curse? I'm sorry.
Yeah. We drinking and shit.
But you're right for that. Like just connecting all the dots for everybody, making sure everybody understands.
That's never spoken about.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. That is not something everyone can do.
That's hard.
Yeah.
When I can afford her, she gonna be my manager.
For real.
I put that stamp.
Yeah.
Being concise, is it?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
like, yeah.
Brevity, concise.
Yes.
Clarity.
People
Yes.
need that.
Yes.
Yes.
I need.
Can we talk about something for a second?
Yeah.
As a creative, I feel like you have all these ideas up here, and it's really hard to like get them out the way you want them to be. So like when people can do that, I really appreciate that, because for me that's something that's really hard. Like I feel like I need a master class on getting the idea in my head out the way I want it to, like to a T.
And I think sometimes getting the idea that you see in your head might not translate. When it's in your head, it might not translate the same as it is on the outside, but like what you produce on the outside is what it was meant to be.
That's a good point.
So,
Good way of looking at it.
yeah.
I'm learning lessons up in
Yeah,
here.
I like this. See, but this is why I like linking with other women though, because it's like I feel like I'm new to this creative shit, so like I like to get all the little gems from people that are like multi-creatives.
Yeah. That's something I actually had to learn, because I'll see something in my head and I'm like, this is it, but then it comes out and it's like, this is not it. But then people are like, yo, this is it. So it's like, okay, that's how it goes.
Your standards are going to be different than what other people's standards are.
Yes,
And
yes.
you have to be okay, not okay, but the perfection. I know I struggle with perfection, and like what I see in my head is not, depending on my resources that I have at the very moment, it's gonna come out a little different. But everyone always saying like, oh, whatever you produce is so nice, and I'm like, yo, you don't even understand. I was like a tenth of what the
Right.
actual is. And I'm like behind the scenes like crying, like, oh my god, this is messed up. And
Yeah, same.
Meanwhile, they ate that shit up.
Yeah. All the time.
Sometimes they can't see what's in your brain. That's like what I fall back on sometimes. Like, yeah, you loved it, but like I had a bigger vision, but you don't know what's in my brain, so I guess it's good enough. For now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we veered so
No, that was amazing.
transcend.
That's what Opinionated Episode 3 is all about. Let's transition to the next question.
Okay, who's next? Expand your question.
Yeah, mix it up.
Do you think female artists face judgment for how they achieve their success? is there a perception that women sleep their way to the top, and what do you think of that?
Oh, wow. Sheesh.
Yes, women are judged everywhere, but yeah, definitely how they achieve their success. When women reach a certain point in their journey or whatever, they look at who they worked with, who put them on, all of that, and it must be they slept their way to the top, or it's even other women that are judging women on how they got there, and just the support of other women is not as strong as it should be. I don't know why. It's like if you don't believe in other women, then you do not believe in yourself. So I don't really find any hurt in it, because that just means they do not love themselves. These other women do not love themselves, and that's why it's very important for more women to even be in the creative industry, because you're sharing your voice, and our voice needs to be heard, and not the men's version of our voice. That's why a lot of these women that are like in the music industry, it's all sexual, it's all this, it's all that, because they have a man behind them telling them, oh yeah, you should do it like this, you should do it like that, or, you know. So yes, definitely the judgment is there, the men, women, and anywhere in between on this spectrum. Yeah, that's what I think about that.
Okay, so I think one of the worst things is that I literally created my show for women to empower women, and
What's your show called?
The Healing Hub.
Oh, where can you watch it?
So you can watch my show on YouTube and Pornhub.
Oh, cool.
So I literally created it because I wanted women to be more open and more free and more curious about all this kinky shit. But I'm realizing that a lot of women are judging me and low-key hate me because of how open I am. It's like I'll meet women and like you can just feel that energy that they don't really like me.
You know, it's because they can't be that.
Yeah, but it kind of hurts my feelings because it's like I've been at that point before where I was like not feeling empowered and I was really insecure, and like I wanted somebody on my team to like hype me the fuck up, so I want to be that for women, but then they're judging me for that shit. I'm like, girl, I'm on your team. The fuck?
What you guys think?
That was a big side.
The patriarchy. I hate to be that, but that truly is what it is. Little feminist history lesson, which I'm sure everybody here knows, but just in case people don't, the patriarchy wants to leave women's sexuality as something commodified by them. It's for men. They never think, so they don't realize, right? Because women obviously are victims of the patriarchy, but men are too, because it kind of is in this cycle where we all perpetuate it. And unfortunately, I feel like on top of women not loving themselves, criticizing other women for being sex positive and literally just doing their own thing. Like if you don't like it, just like move on. Like, you know, like it's that simple instead of trying to break someone down. But like pick me culture is is kind of what's like embedded in tearing sexual or sexually empowered or vocally sexually empowered women down. And it's all due to the patriarchy. And I also think, even if we think about Black women who do it, we gotta remember patriarchy is also white supremacist as well. So like, we gotta realize that a lot of these things are rooted in what brought people down, what colonized people, what helped elongate imperialism. So think about that when you're judging these women who are just trying to go further, these women that are in these career roles, and think about why you're wondering who people are sleeping with when they're successful, and why that's the first thing that goes to your mind. Because once you get the promotion at your job, you don't want people saying, oh, she just slept her way to the top. Like, people need to think deeper about the role sex plays in our society, but how sex plays with themselves, like how it all is intertwined. It's a lot deeper than just what it is and why is sex wrong. So
Seduction is a weapon.
yeah, it should be a good thing. Everybody read The Erotic by Audre Lorde. It'll teach you everything about female power. It's not just genitals. So yeah.
You just dropped so many
Women
gems.
are powerful. We are so powerful. I'm just saying.
Right?
We are
You're worried
just-
about what my pussy can do? There's so much more capable of. That's the least of it.
We are quite powerful.
Yeah.
In here,
And you know what's crazy? Like, I forgot that people think like, oh, she slept her way to the top. Like,
People still.
It sounds so
I didn't know.
dated.
I was like, that is a very antiquated idea. I'm like, okay, first of all, she's talented.
Yes.
So, second of all, you're a hater.
Right.
So,
But you're a real bitch, though.
yeah.
You're a real bitch, so you think like that, but a lot of people don't be thinking
I just
like
forgot
that.
people were thinking like that.
It says a lot more about that person than just about you.
Dang.
So
That's why you can't take it personal, really.
you really can. You gotta learn to not take things personally out here.
And also, I think some part of the reason why people think like that is partly because of religion. So it's kind of like, I'm not gonna say that I get it, but like people, these are conditioned mindsets that people have. So it's like, I believe this because this is what my faith says, you know? But also people forget that, was it Mary Magdalene or something who Jesus was closest with?
She was a hoe.
She was a hoe. Jesus, like, right-hand woman was a hoe. So, like, you know, how are we... First of all, you shouldn't judge anybody if you're going to be Christian for real. Like...
Tell my father that.
Are they ready for that conversation?
Like, it's not even in our place to judge what somebody does. Like, as long as you... Sorry, getting on the Christian tip because I am a bit, you know, but not even sorry, but...
Are you a religious person?
Yes, I am, but I'm also free to say that I don't think that you should judge anybody based off of what they do, how they do it, and who they are.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're not God, so what are you doing right now?
What are you doing? I feel like that's when it becomes a people issue. Like, I feel like people take, these moral high grounds as a means and a justification to judge others, because I don't want to be all like nihilistic and think that like everybody is horrible and like, but I do think a lot of people they have a lot of unhealed insecurity and they project it.
Yeah.
And
Projection,
yeah,
baby.
it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Everyone go to therapy or like follow some therapists on Instagram.
Girl, that's gonna change my life.
There's a psychologist on Instagram. I can't remember. Is it the healing
The
psychologist?
holistic psychologist. She is everything.
She is good. I don't know who she is, but
She's taught me a lot about healthy
Baby.
relationships,
Yes.
especially my relationship with myself. You're the most important person on your team. I don't know.
Wait, I have to. Yeah, she's really good. She talks about healing your inner child, your parental relationships, all of that.
Because all that affects who you are right now.
It's your responsibility.
Wow.
That was a really great
We're getting
session
deep.
right there. We're getting
I
deep.
really
So,
was.
Evan, take us deeper. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go there if we're going to go there.
No, we have really good chemistry in terms of conversation.
We do.
Ooh, this is a good one. Okay. So it says, how do you maintain self-esteem and confidence online in your industry?
I don't.
Let me tell you this. If we're going to be real opinionated and deep right now,
Let's do it.
as a black woman, a dark-skinned black woman, or, I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's important.
For real. You're not gonna have a lot of self-esteem if you looking at what is on social media.
Yeah.
If you look at the videos that people put out, like, you're just not gonna have good self-esteem, honestly. So I see myself like, I even tried to give up Instagram for Lent, but I'm like, dang, my career field is literally PR. It's marketing.
It's hard, yeah.
So it's like, I find myself scrolling like, dang, she got a small wave. When can I go to the Dominican Republic to get my video? Like, it gets hard. Like, especially like, I have kinky hair. I'm, dark skin. I'm not like literally an 8-figure. So it's like, how can I get to the top when I see people, some of my idols or who I listen to, they get surgery or they look a certain way, so it's kind of hard to keep horse blinders on when everything that you're surrounded by is something that will kind of eventually tear you down in a sense. So it's hard to maintain self-esteem. You just got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. If you need to take a social media break, you got to do that, because it can take a toll on your mental. So
I mean, kind of expounding off of that, like you said, it's hard when you scroll down social media or like even talking to men or whoever you want to appeal to. They like one thing and you're the exact opposite of that thing. But at the end of the day, I just look in the mirror and I'm like, well, this is it.
This is what we got.
I'm broke. I can't go look like I can't go get the summer walker. Like, so
Exactly.
I just have to find beauty in that, and it's a journey. Like, you know, before I had my son, I looked totally different than I do now. I like the body that I'm in now. Are there things that I wish that I could change? Yes, but at the end of the day, I know that I can't. Like, so I'm gonna do what I can with what I have, and you know, like I have a man, he bigs me up, and then you know, other people out there big me, but I have to big myself up. Like it's an art. Like it's like it's not easy to like big yourself up, but you have to. Like you have to just find a way. And I think what grounds me and keeps me like, you know, down to earth is like, okay, this is what it is, girl. You can't change it. So find a way, get on YouTube, learn how to do that makeup, learn how to do your hair, you know, and
get fit.
do what you can. Yeah, I don't work out, and I know that about myself. Like I eat my trash. I know I'm not gonna work out. So if my hips and my booty grow, all right, boom, we gonna work with that. And then that's it. So
I feel like for me, a big thing is self-care, like literally journaling and like every morning reminding myself like 3 things that I really love about myself. Because this Instagram shit is gonna have you fucking hating yourself. Because like
you can't take it serious.
We are not it because we are black women.
Yeah.
So and it's even harder as like a dark-skinned woman. So I have to set boundaries with social media. Like certain content I have to block, and I have to spend a lot of time on self-care and hyping myself up. So I feel that.
But even look at the women who like go viral, or like the women who are like the poster children for this is how you should look. They are photoshopped. They got the face tune, doing the blurring out. They don't even look like that for real. So
Smooth Mexican out.
I mean, you can't compare yourself to somebody behind a screen because like in their room right now they don't look like that.
They're regular.
They got one pillow.
Like,
Nothing is real.
Yeah, they mattress on the floor.
They mattress on the
They got a sheet on their window as a curtain.
Oh my
It's just
God.
regular as you, child. So don't even worry about that.
They don't have pillow cover.
They don't got no bed frame.
Literally. Mattress on the
One
floor.
pillow.
They got one flat pillow.
They TV on shoebox.
Yeah.
And then you also have to think like men are easy. They don't care.
Yeah.
They think they like that, but they don't care.
Literally.
I think about whenever so first off, I took an Instagram break for like the summer. Or a good part of it was really great.
It's so freeing.
I replaced it with books. I just hide behind my knowledge.
You
I know
better than me.
I know not
I'd be
everyone
like-
does that. Like, and it's not like. And I feel like that sounds so freaking like. Oh, I feel like that sounds like mad condescending. But regardless, I was like, this is like kind of what I've always done. So let me just replace Instagram with something that makes me feel productive. But on top of that, when I think about my looks, my mom, my grandma, my great grandma are all like twins. And I think it's so cool because I'm like, that's a legacy of a look. And I'm like, there's something historic like within my family about my face and my figure and my nose and my smile and my eyes, everything. I'm like, and even my skin tone, my cheekbones, everything. I'm like, this is legacy.
This is it.
That's deep.
Like, my kids are gonna have this. My cousins have this. And I just think about how the men in my family are not like typically macho. I mean, they are, but they also up women hard, and definitely like black women as well. They put us not on a pedestal. My uncle literally the other day was like, "You're gonna be the next, like, you're gonna be the female president." Like, that's how they talk to us. Yeah. So I've like had excellent examples of men and black men because of my family. So even then, when I see people who like kind of speak down on like black women and dark-skinned women, I think of like what the most impressive men in my life say, and they happen to be the ones in my family and the ones I surround myself with, and it makes you feel nothing but awesome.
That's a blessing.
So,
Not many
yeah.
people can say the same.
beautiful.
Like usually people that have that self-hate, it comes from like their family,
Yes.
like their dad or brother or whoever. Like,
Yeah.
dang. Oof. Okay.
That would be
That is
Last week
I
we
love
were
it because honestly, a lot of my self. This is gonna get really dark, so we're just gonna skip past this after.
Let's
I say
get
this.
dark. No, just
But
kidding.
a lot of my self-hatred comes from like my mother because she just was a toxic ass person.
Ooh, please don't
Girl,
make me
mommy
cry. No,
issues,
we're not gonna do
bitch.
that.
So that's why we're gonna skip right past it.
Yeah.
But that's why like a lot of my journey. That's why my show is called The Healing Hole. Like it's me allowing myself to be an individual, be free, and say this is who you are, bitch. And like you said, this is what we're working with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's very important.
Like, you know, you gotta be resourceful. Work with what you got, and you know, show out. Your confidence exudes to other people.
Yes.
That's one thing. Like, when you're confident, other people are going to feel it.
Absolutely.
It don't matter. Like, it's the same thing. Like, say if you put on something like your outfit, and usually that's not something somebody would wear. But if you're confident about it, people are gonna be like, "You look good."
Yeah.
Absolutely. You look good.
You look good.
You look good! You look good!
Simple, but you just love it that much. People can tell. It's like, wow, there's something about you.
Yes. And it's
Energy's
super important to have people around you. Like, your circle needs to be people that will hype you up.
Right.
You know, like, your Instagram comments need to be people that's like, yes, girl, you love it.
Yes.
You know, like, and for real, like, your family should be the people that hype you up. But sometimes family is defined by other means. So, like, if your friends are your
Family's
family,
not always blood.
yeah, they need to hype you up. Like, if your boyfriend is your family, they need to hype you up. Shout out to my boyfriend because he's so sweet. But seriously, like, you know, you need to, like, really be surrounded by love. That's the real thing, because
It's the highest frequency.
for real,
It's love.
for real.
Well, we surrounded by love today, man.
This guy.
Let's just keep it going. You know what I mean? Let's keep surrounding the love and move on to the next question.
Right.
All right, I'll go again. Fine. Oh, sorry. This is a lot. Okay. What kind of sacrifices, if any, have you had to make, either personally or professionally, in order to reach your intended goals? Do you feel now, looking back, that they were worth it, and why? Okay. So, I think the main thing, and I'm gonna just roll with it, it's the first thing that popped up in my mind. The main sacrifice that I had to make is my mouth. I have like a hothead, and I'm willing to fly off the handle. Like, as soon as somebody says something to like offend me, I'm ready to cuss you out, your mama out, your brother out. And you know, while it is very important to be your true authentic self, no matter what, I hate this saying, but it's kind of true. Like, you do attract more bees with honey than you do vinegar. So, you know, you may burn a bridge that you may need down the line, you know, with your mouth. Your mouth can get in the way a lot of times. So sometimes it is best for me to kind of just dial it back when it comes to like my temper and my mouth. I think that I'm a lot more reserved than I was before.
You a Capricorn. I'm pretty
I
sure
used
that
to always be
anything
this
that
way.
you say
I used to
is
be
justified.
like so mean and just so like, and I would get in my own way because I've always been me. Like, I've always liked the things that I like. Like, I've always had like, you know, the dreams and visions that I have, but like, I've just been so mean and like guarded, and a lot of it came from like my upbringing, people not speaking positivity into me. So like, I would have to just that was my way of protecting myself. Like, don't get close to me. Don't get close to me. Don't say shit to me. Like, the moment you say something that I think is like offensive, like, I'm finna cuss you out. And yeah, like, and that was just my way of protecting myself. But now that's a sacrifice that I had to make. Like, and a lot of it came from like my co-host Kayla. She would tell me like, Julia, you cannot cuss everybody out. And it's like,
Shout out to Kayla.
yeah, like, and she's like, you can't do that. And I'm like, like, a lot of my friends would tell me that too. Like, stop being so mean all the time. Like, people like you. Like, they want to like you. They want to get close to you. Like, people get close to you. So, looking back, was it worth? Yeah, it is worth it because I like the person that I am now way better than the person that I was 3-4 years ago. So, yeah, I would say yeah.
I agree. I feel like for me, one of the biggest sacrifices I've had to make is my relationship with some of my family members because they hinder the type of content that I want to create because they're so judgmental. I come from a very conservative, old school Haitian family, so like me being a kinky bitch on the internet is not something my family goes with. And my dad's a reverend, so it's just literally everything pointing away from me being my true self.
I hear
Right? So I just reached the point where it's like, listen, your art is what actually makes you happy, and the conversations you have with your family don't even make you feel good. Every time you're around these niggas, you feel like shit.
Yeah.
So which one are you gonna pick? And I had to pick myself and my art because my art is me as an individual. If you're not gonna let me be an individual, what the fuck are you doing here? So in hindsight, it sucks and I'm sad about it, but at the same time, I'm so much more at peace without the negative influences than I was with it in my life.
Wow. Kudos.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
That's hard as fuck.
It is.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy. Oh, I spent so much money on that shit. Oh my
You.
God.
It's worth it.
I'm just happy I'm a student.
So, this question was about what you sacrifice.
I can read it again if you want.
Okay.
So what kinds of sacrifices, if any, have you had to make, either personally or professionally, in order to reach your intended goals? Do you feel now, looking back, that they were worth it, and why?
Okay, so for me, sacrifices was giving up like my title in the matrix. So I studied mechanical engineering, so that was going to be very lucrative for me. But it didn't align with my spirit at all. So just giving up that whole side of the like money aspect, to have time to be able to pour into what really lights my soul, that was definitely a big sacrifice, because just that whole like title and just like all your family like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing now? I thought you were gonna be a big time engineer and just money and like just money. Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's all they
Giving
give
up that,
Yeah.
you know, what was it, like temporary setback for just your whole life being what you envision. That was a big sacrifice for me. That was a big hurdle for me. Just, I don't know, like the whole thing, like the title thing. That's why I said don't like titles, because I don't know, just hold a lot of weight and strip it off. Like people in the local city asking like, what are you doing now? And you just like,
That's the worst.
That question gives me anxiety.
Yes.
Say it's a
you guys
surprise.
want to see the vision. Like,
I feel that. Bitch, I just want to live. Why gotta do something?
Yes.
Shit. I'm nice to people. That's all that matters.
but yeah, that was definitely one big sacrifice for me.
Yeah. I would totally agree with Ashley. Like, letting go of those titles and what people, sacrificing the trajectory that people thought you were on. Yes. So, yes, it's been a lot. I am a Tampa native. I went to school, I went to Howard, went to Columbia, did all these cool internships, and then I returned to Tampa, and I was just like, dang, I failed. So, like, what's up? You know,
Right.
but it's like, this was not, I had to sacrifice, like, my will and I guess, and let, like, God's will be done, because I had no control over, like, where I was going. Like, I thought I was doing good. I was interning, I was doing all this, but in the end, like, I couldn't, with me doing what I was doing, I couldn't make it work. Like, in New York, I couldn't make it, like, I couldn't support myself. So I had to come home, and my mom was like, it's gonna be okay, you're so good. But I'm like, dang, like, no, I'm supposed to be doing what I want to do. I'm supposed to be on this trajectory to get to the top, but it's not working out. So I had to release and let go of that image and just let what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And just let it be. And, like,
Yes.
things have been coming together slowly but surely,
Right.
but
Always do.
it's, you just gotta let go.
Your blueprint is your own blueprint. That's what I
Yeah.
realized. Like, don't compare yourself to other people. You're on your own timeline, your own path. The blueprint is unique to yourself.
Yes, period.
So unfortunately, one of our panelists had to go to a wedding, so we want to say thank you to Tempestt. Thank you for spending your time. You actually designed the set. Thank you so much.
Yay, Tempestt.
Our panel misses you, we miss you, but enjoy the wedding. So now we're going to move on to our next question, and I think HiiFrequency is going to take it away.
All right. I hope this is a juicy one. Oh shit, I got like two. Do you make a conscious effort to uplift, include, or collaborate with other women in and out of your industry? Yes, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't like working with men. I know that sounds really fucked
No,
up,
that's
but
understandable.
like the type of work that I be doing. No, listen, everybody.
I'm joking.
Amazing. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't an amazing experience every time I link up with y'all. Like Beats and Chill, Hometown, all y'all, blessings. Like I love y'all because you guys are very professional. But I have worked with men in the past where like I'm all about the kinky shit and exploring sex and all that good shit. They see it, they like it, they want to have a conversation and like collaborate. But then when they don't get no pussy, all of a sudden I don't get my content that they edited.
Let's build.
So I am all about, right? Let's link, let's build. No, nigga, you just want to fuck. So I like working with women because even if they do want to fuck, they're still professional. I still get all my content on time. Collaborations are awesome. And if we fuck, we fuck. But with like men, it's just like, if I don't get the sex, this is
It's
it.
over.
This is it. It's over.
They get really mad when they don't get a return on their investment.
Right?
Yes.
Like that's the return. Pussy is the return on your investment. Like, oh my God, we could create such beautiful art, and that's like what you focus on.
The grand scheme of things is not there.
Priorities, yeah. It's just pussy. Like if that's your focus and not the awesome like content we can create and the conversations we can have that can change lives, no, I don't fuck with that. Women are on their P's and Q's. So far, what I've realized, women are always on their P's and Q's.
And men can be kind of scary to work with. Like, if you are doing something with sex and
It's so
you know how
scary.
they put that on a pedestal, it can be very scary if they don't get what they want. Rape culture is real. Like, you know, you gotta be careful of those type of things. And with women, you know,
Like
you could probably find it off.
like
But,
kiss and
yeah,
tell.
but seriously,
That's another thing. Oh my God. Sometimes like you just want to be free and like enjoy connection, but you can't even really fuck with nobody in the city because everybody know each other and these niggas talk too much.
oh my God.
I can say with the podcast, me and Kayla, we used to have guests, like when we first started, like the first year we were doing it. And a lot of men, they fucked with it. And they're like, let me be on the show. And it's like, okay, cool. You know, me and Kayla, we put a lot of time. We would think about whatever week the episode came out on, we were already thinking about the next week and what the content was that we were going to put out the next week. So we have our notes. We talk every day, like getting everything together. And then men, they just want to, like, they feel like, this kind of goes back to another question. Like, men feel like they have to just add whatever it is that men have to add to it. Like, we can't just stand on our own two. We can't just stand on our own two as two women who do a podcast. So men, they automatically feel like they have to be included. And then when we give them the opportunity and the platform to come on the show, they fall flat. They don't know what to say. They're always like intimidated. Oh, y'all got notes? Like, y'all know what y'all do? Oh, okay. And it's like, we're asking the question and they're just like, well, you know what I'm saying? You know.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
And it's like, what are you doing? Like, you wanted to be in this space so bad. Like, you wanted to be included so bad, but you really don't have anything to offer. You just feel like you being a man is enough. A lot of times it's not enough.
It's not. Sometimes
So-
you just want to get next to you. That's why we
Working, right, and then working with women, like you said, women are always kind of women think. Like, we're always kind of 2 steps ahead of things, like what we're going to say, what we're going to add to, like, do we have anything to add? If not, maybe this is not the right direction, but men feel like just existing is enough, and they feel like they have to exist in our space, too, to make it whole. And it's like, no, we were good before you came, so, yeah.
That's also why I stopped doing guest episodes.
I'm sorry, John.
Oh shit, I'm sweating. I'm like, damn. I know, I'm just projecting my insecurities and shit. Oh, man, what we talking, right? That's right. Opinionated episode 3, baby. No, this is for women. We celebrate women. We celebrate women. We celebrate.
That's important. How you feel? I mean this in a nice way.
We gonna edit all this out. I'm joking. No, I think you guys are making really great points, and I don't wanna. I am. I'm just saying. I don't want to contribute. I want to contribute to the conversation. I just want to guide it a little bit more. I don't want to. You know what I mean? This is y'all thoughts. This is. You know what I mean? I'm just in the room. No,
This is what you call
I'm not, brother. Because I just exist.
Are you
You know what
setting
I
up?
Yeah, don't set him up now.
A lot of
Even
times,
so far though, like, do you feel like you learned, like
Yeah, is there
did you
anything?
bring anything up that you didn't think about prior?
I'm a very some of my close friends know I'm very emotional. Like I'm an emotional person. So like when I'm listening to Karli and how she's related to white supremacy, when I'm listening to Evan and she's talking about like these insecurities that we've already shared together, like I get emotional. So that's why I'm just kind of quiet and letting you.
What's your sign?
Girl, we're not.
Are you a water sign?
I don't know. I'm a
What's your
Gemini.
birthday? He's an air sign, like me.
What's the month?
Yeah, what's the month?
June.
June?
Yeah.
Ooh, are you on the...
Wait,
what's
do
the
what?
date?
First.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not
I don't
doing
know.
that.
No, he's like dead center.
What's your
Gemini.
other personality like? So you
Oh
have the
my
emotional
God.
side. What's the other one like?
I don't know. You gotta tell me.
Well, we're gonna find out
Yeah.
with time.
We got.
It's okay.
So moving right along, we're gonna toss it off to Karli. Karli, pick the next question, please.
Do you feel that as time has progressed, the industry playing field has leveled out for women receiving equal opportunities as their male counterparts? Yeah, I think, you know, time does what time does, and slowly things get better. I still feel like I see controlling images everywhere. I still feel like there's only one type or one way to be a well-known woman. I think it's starting to like branch out a little bit more, but I still think it's a little bit rooted in what we were talking about in terms of, you know, being attractive, charismatic, likable, all these things. But I can't say it hasn't done anything. I'm trying to think of any examples of where I'm seeing the playing field level out, but I think I'm seeing a lot more like Black female-owned businesses, and like, you know, I'm seeing more platforms for women to express themselves. I think we're contributing to it right now, and yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I don't want to be like pessimistic about it, because if you stay like negative about it, it's not going to change anything, and it's not going to let things keep going. But yeah, I feel like it's pretty on the nose, you know, like things progress over time.
That's a good point. It's getting there.
Yeah.
I guess I have to acknowledge, I have to be optimistic. Like, compared to way back when, I wouldn't be able to do the type of shit that I'm doing and get away with it. So I guess there is some progression, but I don't know. I do get a little bit pessimistic sometimes. I do focus on, like, the fact that the playing field is not even. But there still is progress. You're right.
Sometimes I feel like the energy, you guys know that show Silent Library, when they put all the cards out on the table? And it's like, well, I guess that's not the same, but I feel like there are certain periods where you put all the cards out on the table, so there are different things that people are trying. Like you might, okay, let's say music, for instance. You might have a Tierra Whack, you might have a Meg Thee Stallion. These are all different types of women, but then the industry is like, okay, I see all these different types of women, I'm gonna let them do their thing for a while, but then I'm gonna focus in on like, what's making the most money, like what are the people still kind of going for. So they get this prototype that they see might be successful, even though it's still rooted in like toxic things or whatever. They see it and then they put it on a pedestal, so then that X's out all of the other women that were doing creative things that were prospering at the time. So now it's one strict lane that is like doing this, that's prospering in a sense.
What do you mean, like with this, like sex? Like say if like between Tierra Whack and Meg Thee Stallion, right? We're gonna zone in on Meg Thee Stallion because she's packaged right, she's sexy, and she can rap. Like I think she can rap, but it's weird when people are like she can actually rap. It's like, well, duh.
Right.
So, you know, now that we've gone with Megan Thee Stallion, now Megan Thee Stallion's up here, but then it's like.
Tierra Whack, she's still doing
Right,
her
but she
thing.
is. But then now that Meg Thee Stallion's up here, it's like, okay, well,
We need another Meg Thee Stallion.
yeah, or
we need
it's not
another
even
Mulan.
that. It's like, well, why you gotta be half naked? Like, why can't you just focus on the lyricism?
Right.
Well, damn, Tierra Whack is over here with baggy jeans on, and now y'all got Meg Thee Stallion up here. Why can't both of them be up here?
Exactly.
Tierra Whack has her own lane. Meg Thee Stallion has her own lane, and why can't like we just coexist? Like, I don't know. Like,
There
it's
can only
weird.
be one in there.
Right.
Right,
Only
and
one woman.
that's the thing, there isn't
Yes.
room. Like, there's no room for women to be individuals that are autonomous and be their own people. I really don't see it. So yeah, I'm sounding hypocritical as I was like, don't be pessimistic. But no, it's true.
It's
I'm
the
really
truth,
glad
though.
that you guys pointed it out, because like, you have to be like, I've noticed you have to kind of be like a music head or a hip hop head or whatever these things in order to find these people. And it's really bizarre. I mean, I see so many differences in so many men, and yeah, there are some things that are more popular than others, but I see a lot more talk about them than I do women. I feel like there's just like way higher hurdles. There's no equity.
Then it's left up to the women to big themselves up, because you have like this pool of women who rap. Like you have your No Names, your Rhapsodies, your Tierra Whacks, and you have your Megan Thee Stallion, your Cardi B, your whoever. And then it's like No Names, like, well, shit, I like Megan Thee Stallion.
Right.
And it's like, well, damn, like, why is it left up to us to big ourselves up in this own little pool that they've boxed us in? Like, it's really weird.
And it's all tied to capitalism. That's the problem. Like, whatever makes more money.
Capitalism, white
other
supremacy.
people. I'm sorry. Say what you about to say.
No, I was just saying capitalism, white supremacy, misogyny, all of that.
They're all pinned
tied.
against us.
Yes.
When when other people see other people support other people, that's when the general masses join in and support them. So I mean, comes down to publicly supporting people sometimes, just being vocal about who you support, and everyone else kind of joins in. The followers, the leaders, kind of vibes. Unfortunately.
I have a good question. One of the common themes in our conversation seemed like it kind of rooted back into social media. So my question is, do you think social media magnifies these things, or do you think social media evens the playing field?
It can even it, but I do think it still plays into the same tropes. I think it still boxes people in. Because, I mean, the big man at the top, who happens to be a rich, generationally rich white man, while it is also his fault, it's also the people who buy into it too. That's the thing. Everybody needs to be deprogrammed so they can find what actually moves them and what they actually appreciate, rather than just going along with I feel like a lot of people don't make their own mindset. I feel like a lot of people
Heard.
just like go through what they think is popular, what they think is cool.
I mean, the goalpost moves all the time.
Right. The body image these days it's completely different from body image 10 years ago, 20 years ago. That's a thing that people, like, I don't know if Megan Thee Stallion would have as much pull as she would have in like 2002. I really don't. And as talented as she is, there's different forms of sex symbolism. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, and she's so talented, she should get it regardless. But the fact is, there's a lot at play when it comes to that. So with social media being so popular now, I mean, they have more of a platform, more of an opportunity, but that doesn't mean that people are taking it in because they are liking what they're being told to like a lot of the time. Not everyone.
The media.
Yeah.
Or what
I
is
think,
being packaged,
yeah.
right?
Right.
I think we're so sorry.
I was gonna say, like, outside of social media, what else do you have? I mean, there's still some purists out there that go buy magazines and, I don't know, buy CDs, but like outside of social media, like what else is there?
Right.
Like,
It's kind of like, okay, that's gonna be so serious. I'm not controversial, but it's like we're all slaves to what we think. What's the newest trend? Like, okay, that's it. Or like you said, the beauty standards in this time are not gonna be the same to this. Well, why can't we just all be like free to do our own crafts or like embrace this body image or not have these set of standards to where this body image would be bad or like her voice would be bad or like, you know, like why can't we just like someone said, coexist? Like, cause I love Megan Thee Stallion. Like I literally love Megan Thee Stallion.
Me too.
I love Sharon West.
So
I
much.
love all of these people or Rico Nasty. Like, you know,
how do we not mention her?
Right. You know, like why can't we just like be free to love, or why can't they put it's money in all of these people? You know, like if you're gonna really be about it, why would if y'all gonna really be business people talking to the man at the top, why would you limit yourself to this one lane when it's so much money to be made and we're gonna talk about being business people?
Well, like Karli said, it's a lot of groupthink. Like people are liking what they're being told to like. A lot of people like aren't strong enough to form their own opinion. They aren't brave enough to be like, well, I like this and I don't give a fuck what y'all say. You know, if 30 people are like, well, shit, we like Megan Thee Stallion. This other person's like, well, I really like Rico Nasty, but everybody likes Megan Thee Stallion, and they're gonna, you know,
Say that. Never studied
judge
that.
me
That's
for
so
liking,
true.
you know, what I like. It's a lot of groupthink. People aren't strong enough to stand on their own too. So
It comes down to the media. So
Yeah.
there needs to be media that we control, because that's the voice. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
And let me add another element to it. There's also, media is now starting to more overtly be bought by ads. Like, because people don't buy newspapers and magazines anymore, the people that are funding these publications are companies that are selling products. Literally, the New York Times released an article about like women in prison because a new season of Orange is the New Black is out, and
Crazy.
Netflix bought that and supported that. So like these are things we need to keep in mind. A lot of these body image issues, all these things, is people finding more things to sell. They're learning how to market these things better or more effectively. And that turns into a whole new slew of insecurities for us all to get. I mean, imagine what it's gonna be like 15 years from now. Like, some things can get better, but things can get worse as well.
Marketing can cross that manipulation line real quick.
That was a tough topic to cover, but let's move on to the next question as we wrap up things here.
My turn.
gotta roll with it.
Yeah, you gotta roll with it.
Did you have a mentor show you the ropes? Did you have a mentor show you the ropes, or did you have to find your own footing breaking into your industry? Okay, so me personally, I like to dabble in different areas because I follow my curiosities. So it's kind of hard to find a mentor sometimes that's dabbling in different areas and being able to balance all of that. So I kind of just find multiple different mentors in men and women and all of that, different areas, even on the internet, maybe like a virtual mentor. Yeah, just trying to find that balance and grounding myself and being able to focus at certain times. Yes. Did I have a mentor? Yes, but it was hard to find.
Finding a mentor is hard, especially like as a Black queer woman, especially someone that comes from a conservative background and is now like super liberal. Like I had a mentor in the beginning and somebody who really helped me in terms of like equipment and learning how to shoot right and how to like help conversation flow. He helped me out so much in the groundwork stages of my show, but then it's kind of like the voice of my show is a queer Black woman and the person backing it is like a man. It just felt like it wasn't balanced. And honestly, I haven't been able to find a mentor since then, and I'm like 2 years into this shit. So when I say I'm winging it, I'm like real deal winging this shit. Like I don't know. I created my show because I had no one like me to turn to. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to find a mentor that aligns with me. And that's something I struggle with a lot.
You're not gonna find it in one person. I'll tell you that.
So like multiple mentors?
Yes.
I can see that because there's a lot of different things that you have. There's a lot of different aspects to creating a show, so that makes sense.
Because I'm like still in school, like senior at UF, and my like minor is in African American Studies, and I take a lot of Black feminism and womanism classes. There's mentors galore around me. So if y'all need anybody's number, email, I got you.
Yes.
They'd be happy to help. When I first was starting out, I found more help in collaborators. I didn't really have a lot of mentors that were offered to me because I wasn't sure what kind of, well, I knew I wanted to write about music or be involved in that industry somehow through what I think I'm talented in, which is writing. So like, I kind of just like figured it out and found other people who liked stuff that I did. But once I had mentors who were experiencing the same thing, it helped me add a lot more dimension to what I was writing about. It gave me a lot more of a bigger goal and a more meaningful goal to me rather than just like putting out like just content. To me it was like every story has weight and like I must do that, if not it's not good enough. And those people also are people to turn to. It's like I feel like crap about this, and they're just like, let me help you. 1, 2, don't let imposter syndrome get you. And it's worked out really well. So all y'all here, please, if there's anyone that you want to talk to that cares about Black women, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You
You
can
can
talk
talk
about
about
that
that
in
in therapy.
I honestly would not be in the place that I am today if I did not have my mentor. I met my mentor. His name is AJ. Well, his name is Alexander Julian on Instagram. And he was amazing. I remember I was a sophomore at Howard, and I didn't know, like, I was in business marketing, but I'm like, dang, I want to do psychology. I want to do this. I want to do that. But he was like, I ended up volunteering for homecoming. Y'all know, like, homecoming at Howard is like a really big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
FAMUs.
But I remember my freshman year, I went to the fashion show at Howard, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I'm mind blown. This is the reason why I'm paying this much to go to this school, because the fashion show was great. And the next year, I was able to volunteer for the fashion show, and he was like the creative director of like homecoming or whatever. And that was the first time I had ever heard the term creative director. And somehow, some way, he just like, we connected, me and my best friend and him, we connected, and he took us under his wing. We ended up coordinating the fashion show for Howard our junior year.
Wow.
And that was crazy. We had like Post Malone for our artists. I was doing like White Iverson type stuff. So that was really cool. But he has worked for like GQ, Fendi. Now he's like traveling the world and stuff. So he gives me the ins and out of like the industry, how I should like be a stylist or like creative director or just networking in general. Like if he comes across an opportunity, he's like, all right, well, I plugged you here, or like I did this. So I don't even know how he came into my life for real, like, or why he wanted to, but it was just a blessing. I'm just glad to have like had him as somebody to guide me, because I would not have known how to do anything at all.
Yeah.
So I need a mentor. Okay.
I mean, I don't have a mentor. I would like one. Like, I've always been trying to, like, manifest a mentor, somebody, like, with both lanes, like with podcasting and then, you know, me doing my support group. I eventually want to become a therapist. So, you know, I would like one. I would say the world is my mentor. I learned a lot from experience. I learned a lot from fucking up. And like I said, I'm always just starting over, beginning again, learning from what I did wrong, and just, moving forward. I have a therapist who keeps me grounded and who speaks life into me and tells me that I can do it even when I think that I can't. Like, I come to her with just like all my jumbled thoughts, like, okay, I want to do this, this, and this, and I feel like I can't. And she's like, okay, well, let's come up with a plan. Yeah, and so she helps me in that aspect. But I would like a mentor. But I made it this far, on my own, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm sure that the right person or the right people, they come into my life, and they will come into my life at the right time. So I feel like I have what I need now, and whatever I need in the future, I'll have it. So I'm not tripping, but yeah.
Period.
All right. Well, the time has come. We are at our last question.
Are we?
Here we are.
Oh.
And Evan will close out the show for us. All right, Evan.
All right.
Step up, man. Oh, woman, sorry.
Okay. It says, how do you remain authentic through your work and content you release?
I like this question.
Yes, I do like this question. How do I remain authentic through my work and content? Well, honestly, like, the content that I put out, if I'm not fully like invested in it or fully like getting that feeling from it, I won't put it out because I feel like it's not going to be good. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like if you're not authentically yourself, then you won't be fulfilled. Like, what's the point if you aren't truly, putting out what you want to put out? Like, I don't know. I don't have energy if I don't put out something that's like real.
Right.
I'll feel fake. I'll feel phony if I'm not putting out something that I really have a feeling behind, that I think that people could benefit from or learn something from. So
Yeah, same. I feel like people can see through bullshit. So
yes.
I feel like the way I remain authentic, I don't know how to really pretend. Like, it takes too much work to pretend to be somebody that I'm not. I've learned to love the person that I am, and I don't know how to be anybody else but me. And I feel like if I try to pretend and be somebody else, social media can do it to you. Like, that's the power of it. You can sit behind a screen and make your own life and fool people, into thinking that you're somebody that you're not. But I feel like at the end of the day, that shit always gonna come out anyway.
Yeah.
Like, bullshit always is gonna come to the light. So, and I don't want to be outed as a fraud. So I don't know. It's really hard work to like pretend to be somebody that I'm not. Authentic is the only thing that I can be. I can only be me. So yeah.
I because I'm not in like a typically creative lane, like it's maybe more linear. You have to be like tricky with it. So like I let my questions guide where I want to get to. Everything I work off of is getting to the truth, getting to honesty. So I don't really expose people. Like, I always tell people what I'm gonna do when I interview them, but I think who I am is someone who's a little bit more off-center and like left of center. So I try to ask questions that reflect that, and the questions that those people enjoy, like things that aren't just there because, oh, you had to get a job done, go get the job done. I like showing another side to things because those are the things that push me. So getting to the side of an artist or anybody, any interview subject, I put like all of my like time and effort into it. I spend a lot of time with them. So I feel like while I'm not showing who I am in my writing, in a way, I kind of have to, because that's how I get my questions up. That's how I get my angles established. So yeah, it's kind of weird. And the way I write, I try to not be too flowery. I try to just, get to the point and unlike what I'm doing now. But yeah, it's weird. It's just different. It's a different field. So, just like ask the right questions, be smart about it.
For me, it's a lot of like self-care. For me, like journaling is my thing. So journaling and really just talking to myself and just figuring out who I am, because I changed so much. Doing that self-care, having that me time to really understand who you are. That way, when it comes time to sit down in front of the camera and record an episode, I can just sit down and just talk in my lingerie and like just let it flow. If I realize that like if I try to plan too much or think about what people want to see, it's always the content that I hate, and I never end up releasing that shit. But if I just sit down and I just like put nipple clamps on and just start talking, it just flows so naturally. I'm like, oh, okay, this worked. Yeah.
What was the question?
How do you stay authentic?
Okay. How do you remain authentic? Hey, just staying grounded, taking the space of solitude. Nature. Yeah, solitude lets you know what your energy is versus what everyone else's energy is. That's pretty much it. What feels good? What feels good? What you feel aligned to? Alignment is a big deal. And you can tell what lights you up and what doesn't, and what you feel dissonance with. I've said it earlier, but being in resonance with what you're doing is you can feel it. You can feel that when it's flowing, when you're laminar flow, when it's no turbulence. Laminar. You can feel that. You can feel that.
Like
so that's pretty much it. Authenticity.
Do what feels good.
Do what feels good.
That's a good baseline.
That is a great way to end this episode. I want to say thank you to the Bricks for giving us a space. I want to say thank you to our panelists for sharing their time. When we built this platform, these are the kind of conversations we had in mind. So once again, thank you for watching. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter, and all those links will be in the description. Thank you for our executive producers, our questions, everybody that was a part of this. We'll see you guys for episode 4. So let's clap it out for our panelists. Thank you guys. We're done. Thank you.
This is
Okay. Hi, I'm Julia. You can follow me on social media at _Marie Charles. This is on. Sorry. Hi, I'm Julia. You can follow me on social media, Instagram and Twitter at _Marie Charles. I had a really great time today with the panel. I feel blessed to be surrounded by so many talented ladies in Tampa. Thank you so much for everybody, the team at Opinionated, for picking me to be a part of this today. I am one half of Back Talk the Podcast. Our website is backtalkpodcast.com. And then I'm the founder of Dear Mama Tampa, which is a support group for single mothers of color. And the website for that is dearmamatpa.com. Thanks again.
All right, hi guys. Hi guys, my name is Karli Lorraine. Social media under the same name. I'm a writer for Narrow Magazine. I'm also a freelancer. So any pitches or ideas or contact information, it's all on my Instagram bio, same name. And yeah, I had a great time today. All these girls were dope. I hope to have made friends from this because I want to be around them more. And thanks to Opinionated for having me. John's a great host as well. And yeah, thanks.
Is my hand up? Oh, here we go. Hello, my loves. I'm HiiFrequency, the host of The Healing Ho, a show that's now streaming on YouTube and Pornhub. And I just want to say thank you so much for having me. This was such an awesome, vulnerable conversation with a bunch of beautiful-ass Black women, so I'm very thankful. Shout out to the Opinionated fam and the Bricks. I love y'all. Tari, why are you yelling at me? Okay. Hi, so my name is Evan or NAVE. I really enjoyed this today. This is an amazing conversation with such amazing, beautiful Black women who shared like really transparent and real stories, and I always love being around that. I am also the founder of NAVEseason.com, a platform for true, unadulterated stories from Black people sharing their experiences, their talents, as well as their history, all of that and the above. Also a singer, graphic designer, stylist, whatever you need, hit me up. Yeah, this is awesome. Shout out to Opinionated.
All right, ready? Okay. Hi, I'm Ashley. I know I come off quite mysterious, but that's my vibe. I'm thankful to be on Opinionated, to share my opinions with these beautiful, like-minded women who vibrate on my same frequency. And the limit truly does not exist. So be who you want to be and resonate on that frequency where you want to be. And then it will show in your reality. That's all.
Cool. All right.